Hi, Aquarius. I am really curious about you all this month. Um, it's a little quiet. It's a little quiet with you all. You're a little bit mysterious at the moment, um, which, I think partially that is just how that Venus retrograde, which when we hit into November, is in Libra, sister air sign. So you'll be feeling that, you'll be feeling that, and how you're visualizing your message and your mission in life. And in fact, a lot of the energies are highlighting that. I mean, you guys already carry that with you, right? It's kind of one of the things that Sagittarians hold with them throughout life is that sense that you have a mission, you have something to revolutionize, you have something to shift and change and transform, and that you can't just live life the same old, same old. Six of Cups, Venus retrograde. I think it's affecting you all in kind of a profound way where it's pulling you back a little bit. You're getting a little quieter. And the first half of this month, you may feel a little quieter. Scorpio energy is a little interesting for you. It does have to do with your identity in the world and how you want to forge forward as an individual and express yourself and show yourself, your kind of more ego-based side, how you want to show that to the world. But there's a lot going on this month. The true node is moving out of the moon, is moving out of your opposite sign of Leo this month on the 6th, and is moving into Cancer. That will be nice for you. It will shift the focus from how you're relating to others and how you're mirroring back to others, which has been going on for a year and a half in a really heavy-hitting fashion for Aquarians, and is going to give you a little bit more focus on making sure you're taking care of your body and your vessel. And I think there's a really good, and your daily routines. And I think there's a really good reason for that. There's a lot of service energy coming in here for you, and you getting to kind of utilize that natural ability to revolutionize, right, and to lead community-based things and to just shift things around, to shift energy in pieces. Five of Wands is coming up. Partially that's because we have Jupiter also moving into Sagittarius on November 8th. Now that is right after the Scorpio new moon, Scorpio new moon on the 7th. We have that new moon in Scorpio on the 7th, which, that new moon energy for you, once again, tied to your reputation, how you're kind of putting yourself out there in your career and what you do in the world. But then Jupiter moves into your 11th house, right? Especially if you're an Aquarius rising, that 11th house energy is getting a huge hit of energy. Jupiter is at home in Sagittarius. Jupiter loves being in Sagittarius. And this is an opportunity to, what came out? The Tower. Ooh, Aquarians, it is time to shake some stuff up, isn't it? What I say, there's something revolutionary going on about you, and there's a reason why you're feeling a little quiet at the beginning of the month. Jupiter in Sagittarius gives you firepower in your 11th house where you naturally already have a lot of energy in your souls, in the bones of your being. We also have, as soon as that Venus retrograde ends on the 16th, the same day, I kid you not, Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius in that same sign. So there's a lot of energy doing this. You also have a shift. This is big for Aquarians. Mars has been kind of hanging out with you guys for a little while and doing a cha-cha, doing some retrograding, coming back, is moving off onto Pisces. And in some ways, I think this will be good for you. I think that Martian energy wasn't necessarily easy on Aquarians. It was giving you a bit of like intensity. You weren't feeling quite yourselves. It was feeling a little bit too raw and in your face. Like it was making you feel kind of anxious, and not necessarily in flow. So I think that'll feel good. But there's a lot of energy here saying, oh, Aquarians, get ready. Three of Cups. Aquarians, get ready. There's a huge transformation coming in. You are about to step into some new territory. And I have to say, the fixed signs are getting a huge shift in general. Fixed sign energy, one of the mainstays of being a fixed sign, and I am totally with you on this being a Leo, is we get into our way of doing things, right? We have a way we're going to do things. We're very loyal. We're very consistent. We show up to what we decide gets into our lives. The way that the astrology is working and the way that the energies are working we're being asked to shuffle that up a little bit because we have something new we need to be working on. We have something new we need to be doing. High Priestess, another card just fell on the floor. Seven of Swords, you guys. Okay. We're going to be having a chat here. I was wondering why, like, when I started looking at your energy, I didn't get that, like, fast note with you because I could tell you guys were hiding something deeper a little bit. Being quiet. Kind of secretly working. Ooh, Ace of Cups. Secretly working on something underneath the surface of maybe a lot of even action on the surface. Now, it could partially be that, I'm filming this before November even starts, so Two of Wands. Okay, we're opening up some new doors here. But as I've been saying about November in general, it is a cha-cha of forward motion, progress, planets changing signs, lots of shift going on, and retrogrades pulling us back to reincorporate. And you kind of have to be ready for it to be both at the same time. Life is a lot about having both of those energies working with us at the same time, but this is a particularly poignant one. For you, here's what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling. You are ready to revolutionize something. You are ready to step into bigger shoes. You are ready to lead and champion and step into a new form. And that can be within relationships, and it can also be with what you're doing in the world. Which, by the way, there is a full moon at the end of this month in Gemini at 0 degrees of Gemini that is going to be hitting you guys hard. It's going to be illuminating what you really love to create and how you love to use your creative vision. And it's going to be asking you to shift something huge. And that's, all these energies are telling me that there is a huge shift in where you're giving your energy. When I look at these first three cards especially, something's up, you guys. What's going on? The Six of Cups can be a beautiful card, right? It's about sweetness and nostalgia and romance and connection. And it can be about, soulmates and people that you feel you've known forever. Oh, the Six of Cups is also about old patterning and people coming back from the past and haunting you. Old patterning, old ways of valuing yourself, valuing relationship, valuing your time. And I feel that's more of what's coming up here. You guys are parsing through that. Venus retrograde takes no prisoners. And so it's a time where that first half of the month isn't really letting any of us off the hook easy with our old patterning. And I tell you what, fixed signs are especially getting a hit there with the old patterning. It can't stay. And this is why. If you have anybody coming in looking to you for your help and for your guidance and for your ideas, or having an idea of you, or wanting your energy, and you feel this kind of exhaustion every time you're around them, pay attention to that. You guys are pretty good at setting healthy boundaries. You tend to distance yourself. You have a natural ability to do that and to step back and look and decide if you want to reinsert yourself into something. So I don't worry too much about you on that front. You are able to do that. It's one of your superpowers. I've wanted to learn how to do that at your level for a long time. Still practicing, getting better. But here's the other thing that's going on. There's something worth fighting for here, right? There's something worth getting into here. I know you all are feeling... I'm getting chills. I know you all are feeling the heaviness of the world. I know you guys feel that stuff. And it's sometimes hard to even care about some of this more mundane conversation when you have certain things going on in the world the way that it is. There are certain things that need to be changed, certain things that are changing, certain things that are just going in directions we never saw coming, or maybe we did see coming, but we can hardly believe it's happening again. You're in there. There's a battle being waged here, Aquarians, and For some of you, I think this is very internal. For others of you, I feel like this is about you toppling something that can no longer stand, right? This is battle energy, and I rarely see these two come out together like this, but when they do, an old power dynamic is getting toppled. And that really can range from a personal dynamic to a political one, especially for Aquarians. I never know with you all. You really run the gamut. The Tower is symbolic of the end of an era, the end of a regime. It is the card of revolution. In some ways, the Tower, I feel like, is one of the most Aquarian cards you can have, because the whole concept of the energy is that you're toppling the aristocracy and throwing them out of their ivory tower. Something, your internal despot, your internal guard needs to go. And in its place, something deeper and richer is coming in. There is a death of self here. There is a death of who you thought you were. If you're having very intense dreams, which, let's get into these three. If you're having very intense dreams during this month, write them down. Take the time to listen to this death of an old self. It's a good thing because you're ready for the next phase. It's complicated though. You guys never let yourself off the hook easy. You always have a complicated palette with who you are and how you go about the world. It's never clear cut. There's always layers. There are always layers with you guys. A lot of times people don't know about most of the layers because you are so good at performing. Just gonna throw that in there and let you finish where I'm going with that. You know, we have revelry and celebration here, which is interesting, right? You come out of this firestorm into celebration, revelry, being with people that get you, flow, energy flow. Something good comes from this toppling. Something good comes from this crumbling, right? Something beautiful, in fact, comes from this crumbling. And it leads you directly, that sense of triumph leads you directly into even deeper waters, which is really interesting, right? Now, the High Priestess, I often see her as a guide. She's water energy, and I think sometimes air signs, you guys need a little bit of this infusion of water because she works so differently than you do. Even though you're water bearers, you're not in the water. You're telling the water where to go. You're like, we're going to take it here, we're going to take it here, we're going to figure out how to utilize this water in the best way possible. But the High Priestess is a guide, right, to the other side. I kind of imagine her as if you were going into the underworld, or if you were going into another state of consciousness, she would greet you there at the door and she would say, okay, here's how we're going to go, right? She leads you through your next iteration. She is kind of the gatekeeper between two lives, two versions of yourself. I'm getting so many goosebumps right now. Bear with me. And that's exactly what's going on here. So it's a two-part process as Mars goes into Pisces. As we move past the Scorpio new moon, the water energy is going to take you with it. You've gotten to have your debate. You've gotten to express your opinions. You've gotten to battle it out. You've gotten to burn something down. You've gotten to clear the air. You've gotten to revel in the empowerment of just saying what you think and transforming something and letting an old version of yourself die. And now we go deeper. You guys are good for this, so I don't worry about it. But the High Priestess is going to ask you to go somewhere you don't want to go inside of yourself. A locked room in the back of your psychological house, down the back corridor, around the corner, around another corner. There's something there that has everything to do with the Seven of Swords. What do you think where do you think that you aren't allowed to be loved? Where do you think that you aren't allowed to be successful and at peace? Where do you feel that you have to do things the hard way every time? Where do you feel that you have to take up the banner of this fight in order to feel value in yourself? In order to feel that you are allowed to be loved or to experience certain aspects of life? Where do you feel it has to be done the hardest way possible in order for it to have value? Where do you feel that you are just not pushing yourself hard enough? Because right now, the goal is not to do it the hardest way possible. The goal is to do it connected with your hearts of gold. We've talked about this so many times, Aquarius. We've talked about it so many times. Can't believe we're here again, but you know what? Life is a practice. We're always practicing. We're always engaging with different aspects of ourselves. And a lot of times, we're born with a certain energy in us. We're having the fun of going on field trips to other energies and exploring them and figuring them out. And that's our practice. Where some people maybe have an easy time going into these spare rooms where these parts of ourselves are held. Others of us are really good at saying, it's over there in that room. I'm doing this over here. I don't need to deal with that right now. And so you keep getting asked to go deep and go into those rooms. You're not an imposter in this life. You don't have to be sneaking around. You don't have to be holding that. If you let this current take you with it, if you let the High Priestess be your guide through those back passages that are holding some Aquarian wounds that you have very efficiently compartmentalized in order to continue to be the warriors and the lovers that you are, if you go on that journey, you are rewarded. The end of this month, rewards abound. New emotional beginnings, new emotional openings, and a huge new vista ahead of you. A huge new vista ahead of you. A vista that you knew was possible and you've been conscious you wanted to create for a long time, but you didn't know when it was going to show up or how. You are welcome to these goods, Aquarius. You are welcome to this love. You are welcome to the ease of this landscape. It doesn't always have to be done this way. Sometimes it's very fun to do it this way. I will admit, you guys, I love a good debate. I love a good lightning strike. But life is also really good when you let yourself have this beauty. Take a breath. There isn't a secret ledger keeper. Your standards are so high for yourselves. You are your own, 19th century scribe. You got your wire glasses on. You got your notebook here. You've got your quill. Deduct this for not doing that well enough. Deduct this for not pushing yourself hard enough. Deduct that for not saying what you thought you needed to say at the time. Deduct that for, I've compartmentalized and I'm not supposed to do it that way. And Sarah says that I need to go look at my compartmentalization. I better deduct some points for that. Oh my gosh, you guys. Sometimes it's just as easy as the Ace of Cups and the Two of Wands. The other thing I get, you're just at the tip of the iceberg with this death of self and this opening up is huge. You can't expect to sweep that all up in 1 month. You're playing with different parts of yourself, and I think that's a beautiful thing. To play with it, to dabble, to find out what works and what doesn't, to play with your more combative, intense side, and then to play with your sensitive side. to play with your warrior side and to play with your giving side. Because I know you have them both. You know, I know you have them all. Like, God. When Aquarius is giving, my gosh, you guys, that is something that cannot be matched. It is the most beautiful thing. So, this is a good month for you being able to watch yourself within these scenarios, because you've got quite the mixed bag, my loves. You're wanting, you're in an exploratory mode. So it's bringing up some huge things, but you're ready. You're ready. I think it's going to be beautiful. I love you all so much. I'm going to close it out there because it's a lot. Follow me on Instagram at the SARAHTAROT. I would love to see you all over there. I try and do energy updates and all of that good stuff, so you can check that out. You can also check me out on my website and my email, which I'll leave all in the description box. I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. And also, if you're needing that toolkit or a little bit of an overarching message about the Venus retrograde, I will leave my Venus retrograde toolkit on Vimeo. The link will be below, as well as the YouTube video I did make for the overarching energies that are working with us at that time. So if you are finding that you are just at sea with what is coming up for you, as far as this retrograde, that's a really useful way to remember that this is teaching us a lot. And it's taking us to some really heavy places. Super important. I love you guys. I love you guys. You know how I feel about you. It has been an honor to sit these last couple years and work with you. And you've taught me so much. And my heart goes out to you. And I will see you guys in December for more adventure, probably me crying again. I mean, hopefully not, but probably I will, because you guys just make me cry. I don't know why. I will see you all soon.